awkward.
Huh? Whoa, whoa.
That was a weird moment.
An awkward kiss, a shocking confession,
I tucked them in. I put a little music on.
a bizarre image.
It looked like the nose was like sliding off his face.
Michael Jackson lived his life in the public eye, leaving us with many lasting memories. Some we don't want to forget,
His solo career exploded after he did the first moonwalk.
and others we wish we could.
Michael dangles his baby over the balcony, and everybody like, oh!
Michael Jackson's massive talent made him famous,
Everyone wanted to be Michael Jackson or Madonna.
but his over-the-top lifestyle and antics made him infamous.
Joe was like, you need to put some clothes on.
This is Michael Jackson's 25 most outrageous moments. Starting at number 25, Michael attends the Oscars with the Material Girl.
Madonna and Michael Jackson show up in 1991 to the 63rd Academy Awards together, as if they were dating. Clearly, they were both using it for a publicity stunt. Madonna, of course, had her Truth or Dare movie coming out. Michael had just signed this, so-called $1 billion Sony deal.
When I see Michael Jackson and Madonna, I think that's a lot of makeup right there.
And the pictures were amazing. And she turns up looking like Marilyn Monroe. He turns up looking like a chic version of himself.
She's wearing a Bob Mackie gown and $20 million worth of Harry Winston diamonds. The plan is we're going to show up on this carpet, make a huge splash together. Are they dating? Are they making music together? And then they're going to publicize this duet they're about to do.
The duet with Michael Jackson and Madonna, and what the title was called, Keep It in the Closet. The problem is, Michael was the only one gonna keep it in the closet. Madonna was gonna take it out and let the world see this whole outfit that she put together. According to the British press, or the reports I read in the British press at the time, it was that Madonna was too racy a star, and Michael Jackson was horrified at the thought of Madonna taking control of his work. I think that was the reason why, he pulled out of it.
Michael Jackson and Madonna was a great publicity move because we're still talking about it today.
Number 24, the Black or White music video premieres to controversy.
Black or White was another one of these videos that came out, and it was a huge production. You had people morphing into different races and ethnicities, and it was really symbolic of the fact that racism was still an issue in our culture.
There was an extended scene, 4 minutes, which most people have only seen one time. It's been put away in a vault. There's a lot of violence, there's a lot of breaking of windows, there's a lot of sexuality. His rage was all about, racism toward blacks in America.
When he transformed from the cat to himself, I was digging the cat. See, people said Michael don't want to be black. Yeah, he did. He was a black cat. There was this a piece in the video where he was jumping up on a car and smashing the car up and trying to be this badass type, star, and he didn't pull it off. I found it quite disturbing seeing Michael Jackson grabbing his crutch. Okay, the dancing was amazing, but hey, keep your hand away from that part.
The fans were shocked because you didn't really understand what Michael Jackson was doing. If he'd let people know in advance, hey, this is a little bit about racism and animal magnetism, I think they would have understood it more, but whoa, fans were, what's happened to him? Has he gone crazy?
I was sitting at home going, whoo, Michael mad. Who made Michael mad? You can't just go around beating up cars, people. You can't. Bad gas mileage, that's what it was.
Number 23, MJ teaches Bubbles to moonwalk.
I think everyone remembers when Michael Jackson taught Bubbles, the chimp, how to moonwalk, which totally makes sense because I was just teaching my dog how to play poker this morning. So I think anyone who has a pet can totally relate to that.
You have to set the scene of Michael Jackson and Bubbles the chimp having a press conference in Japan.
And instead of bringing a girlfriend, bringing a friend, he brings his new best friend, Bubbles the chimp.
So Michael has a cup of tea and he's drinking it, and then Bubbles takes the tea and drinks it. And then Michael gives him the teacup. So you see this whole exchange between this man and this chimp.
What guy's best friend wouldn't be a chimpanzee if he could afford it? Clint Eastwood, whoever was in BJ and the Bear, All the great men of our times have had best friends that were monkeys.
The fact that this monkey was wearing overalls, which that's a fashion faux pas to begin with, at least give him a glove and a little red jacket.
And you're thinking, what the heck is going on here? And then we see Bubbles doing the moonwalk, which really looked like Bubbles, kind of disoriented.
Poor Bubbles. I mean, he tried, but he was basically just walking backwards. I mean, I've seen guys dance moonwalk that bad, but they're usually drunk.
Now, in defense of Michael, he did rescue Bubbles from a cancer research clinic. He saved him, but did he really save him when he's dressing him up to look like Michael Jackson and when he's being forced to learn how to moonwalk? Cancer research facility may not be that bad.
Number 22. Michael reveals to Oprah why his skin was turning white.
So in 1993, Michael Jackson does an interview with Oprah. This was so widely anticipated. People could not wait to watch this, to hear what he had to say. It was an unedited interview. Approximately 100 million people tuned in to watch this interview.
That was the first time we heard why Michael was turning white. Because I'm especially in the black community, we was like, boy, this boy's sure getting light. And older black people were saying it too, like, what is wrong with that boy's skin? And then he was like, I got vitiligo. So we were all sitting there going, yeah, vitiligo. What's that?
I know people who have vitiligo, and I know exactly what it is. Everything turns white or weird or blotchy. But Michael Jackson had been trying to hide this from the public for years.
I think the public reacted with disbelief at the vitiligo. What he had was clearly, to me, skin bleaching. At the same time, you understand, he had to offer an excuse.
And also in this interview with Oprah, Oprah asked Michael, are you a virgin? And he said, I'm a gentleman. And I said, you a liar.
I've got news for you. I've met a lot of guys that are gentlemen. That doesn't mean they're virgins.
I want to know if Oprah's a virgin. That's what he should have asked.
Love it.
Number 21. Michael's multi-million-dollar shopping spree.
Bought these, bought this one. Did we get those?
I think you really saw the way Michael spent money in the Martin Bashir documentary. When Martin goes with Michael to Las Vegas, Michael kind of charges through this mall on a shopping spree, and within about 15-20 minutes, he has spent several millions of dollars.
Michael was buying stuff that nobody needed. Like, he didn't even need it. Did you see some of the artwork? He was looking at it like, what? Who's gonna put that in their house?
I've been to that store in Vegas. They just go to old people's garage sales. And like, oh, you've got the silverware chess set? $83,000. Because it clearly doesn't matter to the people who shop there.
$5 million. Michael knew he didn't have $400,000 in his bank account, but they gave it to him. That was amazing. And he wasn't even looking at it. I don't know if you saw him. He was just like, 3Ds, photos. Oh, I love that.
Excuse me, I want that one there.
He needed to go to Debtors Anonymous, that's what I say.
Money can't buy happiness, but in Michael's case, it can buy crazy.
A sweet ass face.
It also brought a lot of heartache because once people saw it, they thought, you need help.
Number 20. Michael releases Leave Me Alone.
Michael Jackson's Leave Me Alone video and song. Now, this was his response to everybody bothering him.
Just leave me alone.
In the video, you saw all the newspapers, all the tabloids, he's a weirdo. Was he gonna marry Elizabeth Taylor? Is he gonna buy the bones of the Elephant Man?
The rumors about the hyperbaric chamber that he slept in with the oxygen in there and the Elephant Man bones were actually started by Michael Jackson.
A little known secret in Hollywood is that a lot of celebrities put their own rumors out. They have relationships with certain members of the press, and if there's something they want out there, they'll get it out there.
Anytime that somebody's sleeping and like you're not in a bed, and just a little clear little tomb and you sleeping in there, I'm like, where are you going, to the future somewhere?
He probably didn't have a hyperbaric chamber because that doesn't exist. I've never heard the word hyperbaric in any other contest other than Michael Jackson had a hyperbaric chamber.
He apparently wanted to buy the Elephant Man's remains. Now, I quite believe that. That is quite something Michael Jackson might have wanted to do.
Michael Jackson was fascinated with the Elephant Man because it was somebody who people looked at as a freak and different, and I think that's how Michael saw himself.
I have the bones from Eric Stoltz and Mask, which are also very valuable and make me feel better about myself.
Number 19. Michael Jackson calls Tommy Mottola a racist.
Michael Jackson took the opportunity at a meeting with Reverend Al Sharpton to denounce Sony President Tommy Mottola for being a racist. And he didn't just call him a racist. I mean, he really said he was evil.
He's a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
Michael had an album coming out, Invincible, and he didn't feel that Sony was promoting it well enough.
What's crazy is it actually went platinum, but for Michael, platinum that's not good. You know how many artists would slice their wrists for platinum?
He's a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
Michael didn't even really know how to be mad at people. Michael was like, Tommy Mottola, he's a mean man. Who says that when they mad at somebody?
I would love to see Michael lose it in that voice.
Tommy, you're racist.
But of course, Sony later denied it, and nobody really thinks Tommy Mottola is racially prejudiced. But hey, if he was, well, he would never do it again to Michael Jackson.
After the break, Michael does something so unbelievable, even Britney Spears is left speechless.
It was the most embarrassing moment in pop history.
And later, the moment that shocked fans around the world.
It was so disturbing to look at. I had to cover my eyes.
When Michael Jackson's 25 most outrageous moments returns. Welcome back to Michael Jackson's 25 most outrageous moments. At number 18, the premiere of the Thriller video.
First of all, if you were in high school, you ditch. Let me tell you something. I remember being in school and about 8 of us were like, the Thriller video coming on today.
We'd read about it in the papers, and I think it was being shown in the UK like on a Friday night, and everyone was like waiting for that moment.
Thriller wasn't just a music video. Thriller was a movie. It started out with acting, it started out with scenes, told a story, then we got to the music.
And of course he had the best director, John Landis, make the Thriller video. It was a mini movie music video. And of course the choreography for this video was amazing. I mean, everybody did the Thriller dance.
This was a departure from any other music video there had ever been. Thriller defined music videos, and Thriller defined the artists of the 80s.
The Thriller video ticked every box in quality that it possibly could. It was a milestone in the Michael Jackson history book.
Number 17, Michael accepts the Artist of the Millennium award?
2002 VMA Awards, we see Britney Spears come out and introduce her friend Michael Jackson. And it's his birthday, and they're going to sing happy birthday to him, but what she says is, I consider him to be the artist of the millennium. And he comes out and he accepts this award as the artist of the millennium.
Michael heard Artist of the Millennium. Michael grabbed what he wanted to hear. He knew it was his birthday, but Michael said, ooh, Artist of the Millennium, that's what I am.
So you had Britney Spears and Michael Jackson standing next to each other. She didn't know what was going on. He thought he was getting an award, and suddenly it was the most embarrassing moment in pop history. The public was like, oh no, how could he, I actually felt sorry for him.
And somebody was like, tell him we're just playing. And somebody said, no, you tell him. And nobody did. That's how big Michael was. How does your 44th birthday turn into you becoming the artist of the millennium? Only Michael Jackson can make that happen. There's nobody bigger than Michael. So you got to go ahead and go, yeah, he's artist of the millennium. He made it up. He took it. He accepted it. He's artist of the millennium.
Number 16, Michael's kids appear in public wearing masks.
Michael Jackson has a history of covering his kids' faces in scarves and masks. It was one of the most bizarre moves that any celebrity has done to protect their children's privacy.
It's just Michael knew about the swine flu way before we knew about it. So he was like, hey kids, put this on, gonna protect you from the swine flu.
But behind the funny masks lurked some serious fears.
Because he was always afraid that the kids were gonna get kidnapped. He was afraid that someone was gonna try to get to him through his kids. He felt like he was persecuted, and he was afraid that it was going to somehow affect his kids, and he just didn't want them to have to bear the consequence of the fact that people were after him.
On the one hand, you can't blame him for wanting to protect his kids' privacy. These kids were so sought after and will continue to be sought after by the media. But on the other hand, you're bringing so much attention to them by covering their faces and making us want to see them even more.
It definitely did not protect them, because anytime you see somebody with a mask on, you go like this, hey, what is wrong with you? Who are the 3 kids with the mask on? Those are Michael kids. Are they? What's wrong with them? They definitely stuck out. He didn't hide them at all.
Coming up, the king of controversy.
It was a nightmare, a horrifying nightmare.
What did Michael do to enrage a former Beatle? And later, the moment we all saw, but wished we hadn't.
It was like, huh? Whoa, whoa. You know when you bite into a lemon and you're like,
Welcome back to Michael Jackson's most outrageous moments. Making the list at number 15 is Michael's red carpet appearance at the 1984 Grammy Awards.
You never knew who Michael was going to show up with at a big event, but I think he surprised everyone, even beyond our wildest beliefs, when he showed up in 1984 at the Grammys with his date as Brooke Shields and then carrying Webster, Emmanuel Lewis.
Brooke Shields is one of these women that you really admire, and she's one of these child stars who didn't fall off a crazy wagon.
And it's one more time that people are saying, what's going on with you? Why are you carrying this kid around? Why do you have on one glove?
Emmanuel Lewis is like the original Tinkerbell. Now starlets carry dogs on the red carpet. Back in Michael Jackson's day, he carried a little boy.
Number 14. Michael's video message proclaiming his innocence.
Back in 1993, Michael had to subject himself to a strip search of his body, so he responded with this very intimate kind of video to his fans talking about it. He looked really upset. He looked very embarrassed.
He was humiliated, he was embarrassed, but he was fighting back.
It was a nightmare, a horrifying nightmare. But if this is what I have to endure to prove my innocence, my complete innocence, so be it.
I really do feel bad for him for that. I mean, I understand that they were doing their job, but Michael Jackson is claiming that they went way too far.
I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth before you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent.
You know, there was a poll at the time conducted that said 75% of people really thought Michael Jackson was telling the truth. So I think it actually had the right impact.
Let me tell you something about Michael Jackson fans. We can stand here and see Michael slap the mess out of an old woman. And you know what they're gonna say? What did she do to Michael?
Number 13. Michael purchases the Beatles catalog.
So back in 1982, 1983, when Michael was working with Paul McCartney on songs like Say, 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 Paul had told Michael that he raked in something like $40 million a year just from collecting royalties on songs that he owned.
The company that owned the rights to McCartney and Lennon's music came up for sale, so Michael Jackson bought it.
Michael ended up bidding on it for something like $47.5 million, which of course turned out to be the best investment Michael ever made in his life.
So Paul said, hey buddy, where's my share of the money? Do you think now that it's making so much I can get a little more? And Michael was like, it's business.
And you notice Paul don't tell anybody anything else now. Hey Paul, do you know Paul? Nope, nothing. I learned my lesson.
Number 12. Michael Jackson dons a burqa.
2005, the trial in Santa Maria is over. Michael Jackson has been proven innocent, but he needs to leave America. And his brother Jermaine is great friends with the Prince of Bahrain, and he leaves America and he goes to Bahrain.
When you get off a case like that, you barely get off. You take off. You don't stay around here for nothing else to pop up.
So Michael Jackson always wore strange clothes, but then he took it to a new level when he went to Bahrain, and he suddenly looked like an Afghani woman who wasn't allowed to go out of her house without having everything covered.
That's clearly why Michael Jackson converted. He thought that dudes were allowed to wear burqas, and so he wouldn't get any germs on them. And he found out that it was a chick thing, out of there.
Number 11. Michael's victory dance on top of a car.
I think even if you don't remember the specifics of the trial going on in Santa Barbara in 2004, you remember the day that Michael Jackson showed up to court and pled not guilty, then came out, jumped on the car, and started dancing in front of all of his fans.
So he pleaded not guilty and celebrated his own plea by dancing on a car. Smells like guilty.
Most celebrities, when they come out of court, they have blankets over their faces. They have people surrounding them. Not MJ. Part the Red Sea, let me jump up on a car.
When Michael Jackson jumped up on top of that car and started dancing, I was like, okay, obviously you don't know. You've not been to court a lot, Michael. You get in the car right now. You don't celebrate because you proclaim you're innocent. Please, Michael.
After his little performance and after he saw the crowd, he was asked, what do you think about this crowd? And he said, I love it, as if it were a concert. You kind of saw the direction the trial was going to go after that.
Stick around, because up next, it's Michael's top 10 most outrageous moments.
It was shocking, it was frightening.
And Michael takes part in the most bizarre celebrity wedding ever. The only thing stranger than MJ was the bride and the groom.
She beat him mercilessly, and he had to sue her after the wedding.
Welcome back to Michael Jackson's most outrageous moments. Coming in at number 10, the second most famous moonwalk of the 20th century.
1983, it was the 25th anniversary of Motown, and everyone was watching it.
Michael reunites with his family, then they stop, and Michael goes, thank you, and tells them, get out the way, I'm about to turn this out.
And then, in the middle of it, he does just a few steps, the moonwalk, and everybody collectively in the theater and watching television went, oh my God, what was that?
Everybody just felt like they had been zapped.
You really look like you're walking on water when you do it. It's like, it's so cool, and you dip your hat. I mean, fedora companies are making millions because of Michael Jackson.
I would say that moment defined his solo career. His solo career exploded after he did the first moonwalk.
Number 9, the opening of Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch.
From 1988 to 2005, the Neverland Ranch up in Santa Barbara County was the home for Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson had always had this obsession with Peter Pan, hence the nose.
So he thought, what if I had this place that was so magical where you'd never grow up? Just like in that book I read, Peter Pan, I could be Peter Pan and create a magical forest for all of my little elves.
There were trains, and there were Ferris wheels, and everything for kids, and there were kids there all the time.
And people were like, why would a grown man want to do that to his house? Because it was fun. Let me tell you something. If I had enough money, I'd buy Magic Mountain and put me a house right in front of it.
And it was amazing, and it would have stayed amazing if the charges had not come out. And that's what made it freaky.
If people accuse you of pedophilia, any lawyer will tell you, don't open a theme park in your house. It's just right. It raises suspicions.
It just proves that Michael Jackson was never going to grow up in Neverland.
Even if you disapprove of Michael's behavior, it's fascinating to think that one person lived there and turned this into their own private Disney World.
Number 8. Michael takes part in the most notoriously expensive and straight-up kooky celebrity wedding of all time.
How did you feel? Congratulations. Fantastic.
The Liza Minnelli David Guest wedding was already considered by many journalists to be a freak show. And then we had Michael Jackson as the best man and Elizabeth Taylor as the maid of honor.
First of all, you think how many marriages are going on there. You have Elizabeth Taylor married 8 times to 7 husbands. This was Liza's 4th marriage. Michael Jackson had been married twice.
I understand why Liza at her age needs to be given away. Like, you're lucky if people are taking you at that point.
But I think more stunning was just looking at them and wondering how many plastic surgeries they've had between the four of them.
David Guest and Michael Jackson had been friends when they were young. And then, what happened is they grew up and stayed in contact with each other and had the exact same plastic surgeon. See that? It's that 2-for-1 going on. That's what that was.
Apparently it was a very fun wedding. And then she beat him. She beat him mercilessly. And he had to sue her after the wedding. Because she is an enormous, strong woman.
Number 7. The infamous 2002 court photo of Michael Jackson with a taped nose.
We've seen Michael Jackson's nose transform over the years. It's gotten lighter, it's gotten thinner, it's taken on a different shape. But in this particular moment, we see it in its scotch tape, duct tape, gaffer's tape.
It looked like the nose was sliding off his face, that he had taped it back on or put some crazy glue to glue it back on.
Do you think he sneezed at some point? It was just like, oh, this is not going to be a good day.
And even after he died, people were searching his house for boxes filled with fake noses. People said, he didn't have a nose left.
When you look at the pictures of Michael as a young man, and then you look at him as a grown-up, it was just sadness.
And if he's gonna have all this plastic surgery, embrace it. Admit it. You can't lie about it anymore when you've got a nose taped on your face.
If you didn't think Michael Jackson had really gone off the wall, no pun intended, by that point, you knew then he was out of control with the plastic surgery.
Coming up, we're making our way to number 1, but first, Michael makes a scandalous confession.
Very charming, very sweet. Sure. It's what the whole world should do.
I was at home going, God.
Was MJ's confession outrageous enough to make the top 5? Find out when we return. Welcome back to Michael Jackson's most outrageous moments. Coming in at number 6, Michael shows up to court in pajamas?
So we're in the middle of the trial. It's March 2005. Michael Jackson initially said he wasn't going to show up to court because he was having some back problems. The judge ordered him to show up.
First of all black men know you don't arrive to court late. Obviously, Michael has never been to court a lot. So Michael is late. Not only is Michael late, Michael is in pajamas. Michael is like, I just rolled out of bed, I'm sleepy. Oh, Judge, I'm here. So what are we gonna talk about?
And I thought, he's playing the psycho card here. Only a crazy person walks around in their pajamas during the day.
Now the rest of them is sort of dressed appropriately for court, but he's wearing pajama bottoms.
I like they threw the blazer on. I think that showed that it made the point. It's like, I am so sick and incapable of being here, but I've done my best. I made the effort.
Maybe somebody managed to get the top stuff on him and he was like, no, I just want to sleep a little longer.
It was pathetic, it was sad. It was sad, really, truly.
What's also odd about this, as if wearing PJ bottoms isn't odd enough, is that his father was there.
And I don't know if people saw it, but Michael was still going like this. Michael was moving away from his dad. He tried to talk to him. Joe was still intimidating. You gotta put some clothes on. That's what he was saying to him. Nobody heard that, but Joe was like, you need to put some clothes on.
I think his dad was thinking, this is what we've worked for all these years. This is why I pushed you so hard, Michael.
By the way, what people own pajamas after the age of 30 and before the age of 70? That's a no pajama zone.
At number 5, Michael's accident on the set of a Pepsi commercial.
The Pepsi commercial really just surfaced after Michael Jackson died. And it was so scary. It reminds me of something you'd see like an Evel Knievel event.
You'd have to compare it to the Hindenburg, Titanic, just any other horrifying disasters that our nation never recovered from. Not that all those were our nation, but a nation. Pepsi Nation.
When I was young and heard about it or read about it in the press when I was a kid, that I didn't really believe it was that bad.
3rd-degree burns. I mean, have you ever picked up a hot pot or a hot skillet and it burned? You're like, God, dog it. Imagine that 3 times that.
That looks horrible. And nobody came to his aid. It was really weird to watch. It was like nobody's got a blanket.
And then what happened, once they put it out, they forgot all about the other Jacksons. They stand there like this. Hello? Hello? We're here. Tito, where you at? I'm over here. Jermaine, we're not going to shoot the rest of this commercial? Gone.
That one moment, the Pepsi commercial, is the beginning of him getting hooked on massive amounts of pain medicine.
Number 4, Michael marries Debbie Rowe.
Michael Jackson marries Debbie Rowe. I was like, ooh, Debbie Rowe, who's this? Oh, she got to be fine. Michael married Michael. Oh, wow.
She was this oversized blonde woman, and then was Michael Jackson, this skinny, kind of ghostly looking figure, and I just thought, wrong. Very, very wrong indeed.
If I'm Michael Jackson, I think I'm getting at least a Victoria's Secret's model, right?
Even Bubbles. Bubbles was like, oh, come, now you tripping.
There's no way these two had any kind of romantic connection.
And yet now he is having a child with this woman that we don't know anything about. People were pretty shocked.
Where Michael Jackson's like, can I inseminate you and you give me all the kids? Is that cool? And then she's like, yeah, that'll be fine. Like, I don't know, you just wonder how that went down.
The first I thought of Michael Jackson being the daddy was the birds and the bees. And does Michael Jackson really know what happens? Did he really do it?
Now, I've been in the same room with the children, and now, as everybody knows, the children are white. That's clear. They might have a little tinge of dark, but they really are white. They're Caucasian kids. So that makes you wonder, you know, are they his kids, are they not?
Paris and Prince.
Prince and Paris.
They're all Prince or Paris, Michael? I think poor Blanket. That kid has got to get rid of that name.
This is the guy that came up with Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Kusa. Best he can do for his kid is Blanket. Lazy.
Coming up next, a moment so shocking it earned a spot in the top 3.
I was like, where's the publicist? Where's the manager? Who was giving him advice?
When Michael Jackson's 25 most outrageous moments returns. Welcome back to Michael Jackson's 25 most outrageous moments. Number 3, MJ makes a stunning confession.
The Crazy Martin Bashir documentary that he did with Michael Jackson is something that will never be forgotten. I mean, this documentary will be talked about for the rest of our lives, our children's lives.
And the Martin Bashir documentary is the single one thing that was an indictment of Michael Jackson by Michael Jackson himself.
When you actually invite children into your bed, you never know what's going to happen.
But when you say bed, you're thinking sexual. They make that sexual. It's not sexual. But we're going to sleep. I tuck them in. I put a little music on, and do a little story time. I read a book. It's very sweet. Put the fireplace on. We give them hot milk. You know, we have little cookies. It's very charming. Very sweet.
And he said, yes, because I sleep in the bed with children, kids. And I was like this at home going, God.
I was like, where's the publicist? Where's the manager? Where are all these people behind Michael Jackson, this big superstar that has everybody on the payroll? Who was giving him advice?
I was like, no, you don't. You don't share your bed with people. I don't share my bed with people I don't know. My brothers can come over to my house. I'll be like, no, couch. My son, he get in my bed barely, but share my bed with total stranger kids.
Up until then, there was speculation that this happened. You know, maybe the kids are lying, maybe their dads are trying to get money from Michael Jackson. But to hear him actually admit it, insane.
Number 2, Michael and Lisa Marie kiss at the VMA Awards.
That was a weird moment.
Awkward.
Blah.
You know when you bite into a lemon and you're like, it was that kind of thing for me.
The 1994 VMAs when Michael and Lisa Marie kiss. Did you see the way they touched each other? Like, Michael, it was like, and then they didn't let us see the lip lock. They just kind of turned and he was like, and they said this wasn't gonna last. And we were all sitting there going, and it's not.
I guarantee you they were supposed to rehearse that kiss, and he didn't even want to kiss her in rehearsal. He was like, no, let's just wait till we go out there, we'll be fine. She looked absolutely horrified.
I think there was definitely tongue in that kiss. I don't think that kiss ever happened again, but that one time I think there was tongue.
It was a little bit like sicky, to be honest with you, and unnecessary. I felt that Michael Jackson was trying to say something to the public or trying to cover up something in the public's eyes.
I don't know if you guys felt the ground rumble. The ground rumbled a little bit because Elvis was rolling all over his grave. But then Elvis rolled over and was like, it's Michael, ain't nothing gonna happen over there. He wasn't worried about it.
If I had to rate the Michael Jackson Lisa Marie Presley kiss, I would give it number 1 for most awkward kiss ever.
After the break, it's what you've been waiting for. Michael Jackson's number 1 most outrageous moment.
Those screams and shrieks, those were horror, Michael Jackson. They were not praise.
You don't want to miss this. Welcome back to Michael Jackson's most outrageous moments. At number 1, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. The most outrageous of the outrageous. The dangling baby incident.
It's 2002, and Michael Jackson's in Berlin, Germany to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award, and a ton of fans are gathered around his hotel. All of a sudden, MJ steps out on the balcony holding something.
Michael dangles his baby over the balcony. This is when he takes blanket and everybody's like, oh!
MJ's baby blunder tops our list at number 1 for making the crowd go wild. And not in a good way.
The fact is that Michael Jackson thought that they were encouraging him. Those screams and shrieks, those were horror, Michael Jackson. They were not praise.
I think if it was Tony Dorsett, no one would have said anything. But Michael Jackson, they're like, that guy, he doesn't seem like he can hold on to anything. He doesn't have a lot of prowess. So I think that was the panic.
I was scared. Then when he brought it back in and he was like, what? They wanted to see the baby. Anybody want to see your baby like that?
Well, then, of course, the lawyers are rushing to Michael Jackson. They're getting in his ear and they're saying, dude, come on, you've got to apologize. This isn't normal. And Michael's probably like, why? The children are the world. What did I do?
But it didn't matter what he said. It never would have been accepted. Too many parents in the world watching this to say, what the heck is wrong with you?
That does it for Michael Jackson's 25 most outrageous moments. For more info on the King of Pop, log on to tvguide.com for in-depth coverage.